The big band and swing jazz age, which spanned from 1919 to the mid-1940s, was one of the most revolutionary periods in history. It was a time of rebellion against cultural norms and a time for society to reinvent itself. The young of this generation will begin to adopt a fast lifestyle that society and older generations had never seen before. This was in part due to the progressive era, which prompted more reforms and social activism, as well as industrialization, which would provide more jobs for the struggling economy. And where there are jobs, there's more money, so the city became the place to go. Clubs and dance halls were the places to be during the Jazz Age. These clubs played all types of music, but primarily big band and swing jazz. The epicenters of these musical trends were mainly New York City, Chicago, and Kansas City.
This time period also had numerous amounts of musical classics. Some of the most popular were In the Mood by Glenn Miller, Mac the Knife by Louis Armstrong, One for My Baby, One More for the Road by Frank Sinatra.
There are many overlapping artistic movements that occurred during this time period, including but not limited to Dadaism, Imagism, and Modernism. The artistic and literary works of the Lost Generation were prominent during this time period, as they were the European correspondents to this musical era. Popular themes include violence and alienation, historical discontinuity, decadence and decay, loss and despair, unavoidable change, and race relations. Poets such as E. E. Cummings, Robert Frost, Langston Hughes, T.S. Eliot, and Ezra Pound, as well as authors such as Ernest Hemingway, F. Scott Fitzgerald, and William Faulkner were huge names in literature at this time. The top novels during 1920 to 1930s were The Great Gatsby, Winnie the Pooh, and All's Quiet on the Western Front. From the 1930s to the 1940s, The Hobbit, Gone with the Wind, The Grapes of Wrath, and Of Mice and Men. From the 1940s to the 1950s, Animal Farm, and 1984, and from 1950s to the 1960s. Some characteristics that were generally associated with this era were much more upbeat dancing, featuring dance crazes such as the turkey trot and the Texas Tommy. Dancers during this period were called jitterbugs because of their rapid, shuffling steps. There were many different types of clubs that featured live jazz bands, but in New York City, two of the largest ones were the Savoy Club and the Cotton Club. The Cotton Club was originally opened by owner Madden in order for him to serve bootleg beer to his customers in the time of Prohibition. Ragtime and blues music greatly influenced big band and swing jazz. Swing was played by big bands and had the big band feel but had carefully organized improvisational solos. Bebop jazz developed as a revolt against the arranged formula of swing jazz. Also influenced by big band and swing jazz were Brazilian and Afro-Cuban styles, cool jazz, free jazz, jazz fusion, avant-garde jazz, Afrobeat, jump blues, traditional pop, and even funk.